The other day, I came across a post on Reddit asking, is it bad to practice in the car or even take Zoom lessons? And one of the top comments came from a voice teacher who said, I have a rule in my syllabus that I will not do car lessons. In order to have a proper lesson, you need to be standing. You will not learn proper technique from a seated position. You can learn a lot over Zoom, but you need to be in the proper position. Now, today, I want to share with you why I don't think that this is true. I've taught plenty of students over Zoom, and a lot of times they're just sitting down on their chair, and yet they're still able to develop better technique. Let's examine this together. Now, real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher who works with students from all around the world over Zoom. And really on this channel, my goal is make learning how to sing as simple and as easy as possible. So if that is up your lane, consider subscribing wherever you're joining me from. If you're interested in working with me privately, links are down in the description. If you want to inspire our next episode, let me know down in the comments below what you want me to talk about next. Now, the first reason I'm going to present here is that the bottleneck of your vocal technique is not usually your breath support. From a lot of these responses that you see online, a big reason why people advocate you to not practice in the car, to not take voice lessons in the car, is because you're going to be seated, which can of course affect your breath support. But let's do a bit of a thought experiment. You've got a beginner singer, someone who's never trained their voice in their life, and they're standing with perfect posture, right? They might even have pretty good kind of breath support. Now, let's say we also find a professional singer, someone who's gone through training, someone who's, who's done a bit of the work and they've coordinated the voice pretty good. And you get them to slouch. You get them to have like the most terrible posture. Out of those two people, who do you think is going to sing better and with more ease? And so this thought experiment should highlight for us that, for most of us, the bottleneck is not whether you're sitting or you're standing, and it's not even at times your breath support. What I found from personal experience and teaching students from all around the world, often the bottleneck happens here, right at your neck, right? A lot of those finer inner muscles that control the vocal folds. That is the bottleneck for most singers, especially the muscles that stretch and thin out the vocal folds, which help you change pitch. Most people simply don't have this refined well enough. I know personally for me, I still have a lot of work to do. Often when we're trying to change pitch as we sing up higher, we often have to push, add extra volume, distort our posture, do all these extra kind of things instead of just pure pitch change. Now the cool part is if we know that most of the bottleneck actually happens at the vocal fold level, we can learn to control these muscles kind of regardless of our position, whether we're sitting, whether we're standing, doesn't really matter as much. And this leads me into my second point, which is I think there is a huge advantage to practicing in the car that most teachers are ignoring. And it's this: privacy, lack of inhibition, the feeling that you can just go for it. I think these are all incredibly important things to have because it allows you to be in a better mental state to practice singing. Often when we're trying to develop our technique and especially really refine these kind of internal muscles, there's a certain calmness that we need to have, a certain chill kind of approach. Imagine this, right? You're about to practice, or maybe you're about to take a lesson, but then because people are around you, or maybe someone's going to hear you, your nerves, your anxiety kicks up a notch. All of that mental tension often translates to something physical, a bit more gripping, us wanting to push through more air, press on things a bit harder. And over time, what happens is we're just perpetually locked out of this kind of calm, chill state where we can just feel, the subtle kind of workings of these inner muscles, the stretching muscles, the ones that bring the chords together. We're really kind of locked out of that feeling. And we're always stuck in this bit of extra grab and push, rather than just calmly exploring the voice. So anyway, long story short, my personal take is you can go and practice in the car, especially if it gives you that more peace of mind and that privacy. You can even take voice lessons there. I've worked with plenty of students who take lessons from the car. Now, breath support is important, so it doesn't hurt to practice, sitting, standing, but all of the times, as I said before, that's not the bottleneck, but rather building really good control of those inner muscles. That's the game. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star if you're listening from the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, TikTok, any other social media platforms as well, giving a like, comment, subscribe, even share, all those usual social media stuff really means the world to me. If you're interested in working with me, once again, links down in the description. I work with students from all around the world over Zoom. Apart from that, my name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher. I'll see you next week for these weekly tutorials. Take care.